Imagine trying to park a mid-sized sedan in your living room.
Good luck with that.
Right. Now imagine carrying that sedan up 3 flights of stairs, maneuvering it around a tight hallway corner, and, hanging it perfectly flat on your wall.
Yeah, that sounds like a literal nightmare.
It is, and that is the exact logistical nightmare of installing a 204-inch commercial display. So today's deep dive takes us into a product catalog from HDTVSupply.
Specifically looking at the Draper profile plus fixed frame screen.
Exactly. We want to uncover the hidden engineering and, honestly, the massive data ecosystems required to pull off professional-grade visuals for you. So, okay, let's unpack this, because a 17-foot diagonal screen isn't just a TV.
No, it really isn't. I mean, at that scale, you are dealing with an architectural installation.
Right.
It completely dictates the physical geometry of a room. You aren't just thinking about resolution anymore.
No, you have to engineer specific physical solutions for how this massive surface actually gets inside the building.
And how it maintains its optical performance once it is actually up on the wall.
Exactly, because you can't just slide a rigid 17-foot rectangle into a standard service elevator.
No, definitely not.
The Thorst notes, this Draper screen ships entirely unassembled. And I have to push back here because I'm looking at the $5,762 price tag.
It's not cheap.
Right. If I'm spending nearly $6,000 on a screen and I have to build the viewing surface myself, why wouldn't I just hire a professional to coat a giant wall with high-end projector paint?
Yeah, it's a fair question. What is a frame doing that a perfectly smooth wall can't?
Well, it comes down to absolute optical precision.
Okay.
Even the best painted wall has microscopic textures that scatter light unevenly. This Draper screen uses an extruded aluminum frame with heavy-duty baffles.
Oh, so these aren't just borders.
No. They are structural tensioners. They use a sliding hook and loop system to grab the fabric.
Which acts almost like stringing a giant tennis racket, right?
That is a perfect way to describe it, actually.
Mm.
The hooks are pulling the screen fabric tight from all directions simultaneously. So even if the temperature or humidity in the room changes, the surface doesn't sag or ripple.
Exactly. It stays mathematically flat. And that flat surface is critical because this is a 2.35:1 format.
The ultra-wide cinematic standard.
Right. Plus, because the frame has a zero-edge design, meaning the structural support is entirely behind the screen, not wrapping around the front.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you can stack multiple screens right next to each other.
That is the mullion-less setup the specs mention. Because there's no bulky bezel dividing them, adjacent screens visually merge into one continuous image.
Exactly. You literally couldn't paint a wall big enough to do what these modular panels achieve together.
But achieving a perfectly flat, borderless canvas actually creates a massive secondary problem, doesn't it?
It really does. You can't just plug a standard HDMI cable into a multi-screen array of this size without the image data heavily degrading over the distance.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because HDTVSupply doesn't just sell the screens.
Right, they sell the infrastructure to feed them.
Yes, we're talking about colossal pieces of hardware called Wolfpack matrix switchers.
Which are capable of routing 4K video to up to 160 displays simultaneously.
160 displays, that's just insane.
It is. This is the invisible truth of high-end commercial AV. The magic isn't actually happening on the screen.
It's happening in a server closet.
Exactly. If you are outfitting a sports bar or a high-security government facility, you are essentially building a specialized IT network.
It is a total paradigm shift. I mean, a standard home video setup is like a single water pipe going to a single faucet.
Sure.
But this matrix switcher setup is like a municipal water plant. It takes the video, digitizes it into data packets, and blasts them across an Ethernet network.
Using AV over IP technology and high-bandwidth Cat6 cables.
Right, and it reconstructs that image flawlessly at 160 different faucets at the exact same time.
And it has to do that without a single millisecond of latency. The dedicated video wall processors ensure that when a football is thrown on one screen, it transitions seamlessly onto the adjacent screen.
Wow.
The matrix switcher handles that colossal data bandwidth to keep the optical illusion totally intact.
So what does this all mean?
Good question.
We started out looking at a massive, unassembled piece of fabric and aluminum, and it turns out that top-tier visual displays rely on a fascinating combination of extreme structural engineering and heavy-duty data networking.
That is the real takeaway for you listening. The next time you're standing in a venue, awestruck by a massive, flawless video wall, take a second to look past the glowing image.
Yeah, appreciate the hidden Ethernet networks.
The complex matrix processors routing billions of pixels.
And the mechanical tensioning keeping the whole illusion perfectly flat. It completely changes how you experience these spaces.
It really does.
And it leaves you with a wild thought. As these screens become entirely borderless, modular, and, mathematically flawless, at what point does the screen stop being an object in the room and simply become the room itself?
Wow.
When does that midsize sedan just become your walls? Something to think about.